Welcome to the Harry Derham Racing 2024-2025 season review, sponsored by OLBG and hosted by me, Ella McNeil. Today we'll be talking about Harry's hugely successful 2024-2025 season, the upcoming season ahead, and everything in between, including the highs and the lows and some yard superstars. Today I'm joined by trainer extraordinaire, Mr. Harry Derham. I feel like I should say Bloodstock agent to the stars, Ed Bailey, and OLBG sponsored jockeys Paul O'Brien and Harry Reid.
We'll never get an intro like that again.
I was delighted with that.
Yeah. Who are the stars that you both like?
It's a great question, yeah.
Guys, how are we? How have your springs been? Harry, you've been away on holiday in Cornwall. Did you have a lovely time?
I did, yeah. Spring's been fine. April wasn't as busy as we'd like to have been because it didn't rain. So lots of the horses started their holidays sooner than we wanted, but bought lots of horses, been busy, chasing around with him around Ireland and around sales, and I'll be honest, I want it to be October now.
Been busy shopping, Ed?
Yeah, no, we've had a good spring so far. We've brought a good few horses and some exciting new recruits for next year. So
we will get into that later.
Yeah.
Boys, you've been banging out the winners, both of you, at the start of the season. Harry especially. It's been a good start.
Yeah, it has, to be fair. Yeah, no, I couldn't have asked for a better first month. So, yeah, like you say, you always want it to keep going. You're only as good as your last one, but we'll keep going for the summer and get a few on the board.
Paul, you've been to Ibiza yet? That was the main topic of conversation last year.
No, not yet. Hopefully get there later in the summer, but yeah, no, the May's been steady, to be honest, because as Harry said, we still haven't really had any rain, and I guess at this point there's not much of it going to come. So I had hoped to be a little bit busier in May, but got off the mark during the week anyway, so that was good.
Paul got off a Dublin job having won at Warwick, and he said, "Thank God we're off zero." So that did us both a bit of good.
That's your syndicate horse. Yeah, did well.
See the colours and the winners enclosure there. Lovely ride.
Yeah.
That was good, yeah. So.
Very good. Well, let's kick off. Let's have a little start by taking a look back at last season. Harry, your second full season in training here at Upper Farm, and we're going to just take a look at some of your stats and what you achieved on paper. So we'll just run through a few of these because it's quite interesting. 274 runners, which was almost 100 runners up from last season. 57 winners in total, which was a 30% uplift compared to the previous season. Doesn't include your 2 winners in Ireland and 1 on the flat. So 30% uplift.
Like my hype man, isn't she?
A 22% win strike rate and just under £650,000 in prize money won, which is a 40% increase from last season. Let's just kick off because, Harry, those stats are phenomenal. And when we compare them, particularly to last season, it just shows you how much you've grown in a year, especially with some of the challenges you experienced along the way, which we'll dive into later. But just kick off and tell us how proud you are of those numbers.
Looking at Christmas, it wasn't looking so rosy, but we had a really good spring. In the end, I was pleased with the season. I mean, it didn't come without its challenges. And I would also say that the numbers are really good and I was very pleased, but we obviously had more horses this season, so the expectation would have been that they should have got better. The autumn was steady enough. Then we got rolling, and then what happened with the Gallop happened, which was really frustrating, and it probably could have not put an end to our season, but probably could have stopped it from making progress, and I was desperately worried. I didn't want it to define our year. And I set out at the start of this season to train 60 winners. Well, we didn't quite do that, but I think considering December and January were quiet, I think we salvaged it pretty well. And what was nice was I was desperate in the spring to sort of have a festival winner if I could, whether it be Cheltenham was unrealistic. I didn't really have any chances once Vianney had gone wrong, but Aintree nearly happened with Slugger running a screamer, finishing second, and then Ascending Lark went to Punchestown and won. So numbers were good in the end, and I feel like we finished the season on a big winner, which was very satisfying.
Brilliant. Let's kick off by discussing all of your best moments from last season. We'll drive on with you, Harry. Was Ascending Lark the pinnacle?
So we'll go 2 just to not bore people. Yeah, sorry, I've probably already bored you. One was obviously Ascending Lark, because I think, obviously, it looks like she's just won 6 races in a row and she's been really good, and that's been very straightforward. But Paul will tell you about her that last season, like, we were on the verge of retiring her a couple of times. I could not get her right, and her back was always really sore, and it just wasn't happening. And so to get her to put some races together this season, and then, you know, we always thought that she was pretty well handicapped, and calling a spade, I was going for very uncompetitive races and just winning, because she has such a good pedigree, and winning was making her a more valuable mare. And we always sort of said, her and her owners, if we can get to the spring, we'd love to have her get a big one in the spring. Now, we wanted to go to Fairy House, but she was sick after Ludlow. I think it's dodgy air at Ludlow or something. I'm not sure, I wouldn't like to say. But so we had to just bide our time a little bit, and she just wasn't coming right. And we actually had to work her really, really hard 2 weeks before Punchestown to get her there. And Paul galloped her 10 days before at Kempton, and she went really nicely behind 2 quite smart horses. And we said, right, I think we'll get there. So to win, you know, just to win a race on the biggest stage is so important. Like, I cannot explain to you the amount of messages and things you get after a race like that compared to a normal win. So that was great. And another one, which was quite a low-key day, was actually at Ludlow. We had Jasmine Bliss and Vianney both win first 2 races of the day, and it was early February, I want to say, maybe late January. I think early February though. And December and January had been as bad a time as I'd had in my professional career, and those 2 winning, it felt like, right, back on track. You know, the horses look well. They both went and did their job. Look, they were both short price favourites, but they both went, did their jobs really nicely, and that just, I don't know, it felt that day, I drove home thinking, oh God, we're going again now. They're running how they should be. They look well again, and so that was just a low-key day, but was enormously satisfying.
Brilliant. And Paul, it was your best ever season last season. I think you were 200 winners up for your career, and then you rode 50 winners as well within the season. You must have been thrilled with last season, how it went.
It was fantastic, really. I'd a good summer, and it just kind of kept rolling. Obviously, we had a bit of a hold up midway through, but yeah, as Harry said, probably around late January, the start of February, they just started to run to form and improve. I'd say a lot of them all the way to the end. It was I really enjoyed it.
Got a standout moment?
Sure, there was plenty of good days. I would agree. Ascending Lark at Punchestown was it was a really good day. Like, just to win at any festival is always brilliant. But I guess for me, my parents were there as well, and they don't. I'm not sure they might have seen me ride a point-to-point winner, but they wouldn't have seen me ride a winner for a long time. Way. So it was a good day. Yeah.
You enjoyed Fairy House as well, didn't you? You got some kick out of that.
That was brilliant. Washington, yeah. So there were a few good days in Ireland, definitely.
Well, we're going to dive into a bit more of those in a bit more detail in a bit. But Harry, you rode a double for the team at Chepstow. Talk us through that day.
Yeah, mad. Unbelievable.
You're not going to say at Chelsea, you're going to say you rode a double on Grand National Day. That's the only line to say about that day.
How many jockeys that have ridden a double for you, Harry?
So don't say Chelsea, say, I rode a double on Grand National Day. Just walk off.
No, but talk us through that day, because I think it was 17-1 the price of that double that day. So talk us through the 2 rides.
Obviously it was brilliant to just get the opportunities, I guess, and first one was a bit the mess. The race was a bit of a mess, and there was things going on everywhere. I had to survive a little steward's inquiry, and but my little Max, he got the job done, and so now it was good. And obviously ninth Lark, he's been a bit of a boyo in the yard and been a bit of an enigma. So luckily he was actually straightforward enough, and won well enough in the end, and just good to get a few on the board for the Derham and the Derham team, and hopefully first few of many.
Brilliant. Ed, highlights from last season?
A couple of highlights. I mean, Harry knows the
Harry's
answer.
just
So,
smirking in the background.
I'm just always interested in these. I think I know.
I'm going to throw a curveball and give 2, but I'm going to say the second one. I'm just going to. Matt Warner winning 2 races was really good, and picking up some black type. I thought that was fantastic. That was very much the North Star for her to try and get some black type, and great bit of training, and great for Carrie Fell and Nick to have a nice filly like her, and she's ticked the black type box, and now a winner of 2, which is great for her pedigree. And obviously Mossy Fen Road winning his bumper, which Harry's just going to fall asleep at when he's telling that. But no, it's nice. A nice horse for the Barretts, and pleasing to see him win like that on debut.
For any people that didn't watch this review last year, 60% of what Ed said was revolved around Mossy Fen Road. The apple of your eye.
Probably 100. Anyway, that was good. But
He did do it well, in fairness.
He did. And I did think, I was at Ferry House today, Washington won, and I thought that was a really good day to go to the Irish backyard, and as Brian Gleeson said, he won apologising, which I thought was absolutely brilliant.
Great line.
Super day. Felt like we were sort of raiding the Irish for a first time, and
beating the Irish Juggernauts.
Yeah, it's been some great moments this year. Those are the standouts for me.
Brilliant. Now let's move on to funny moments, because we are very lucky that we get to come here twice a month, and we get to witness quite a few funny moments in the yard. Any standout moments, any hilarious moments in the yard, on the racetrack, pull? I have to mention your emoji challenge.
Yeah, that has to be it.
That has to be one of my top moment of last season. Forget the winners.
Hopefully Lucy, being amazing editor, will now edit in Paul's attempts at that, because
roll the tapes loose.
Pig farming and sheep. Farmers make money. Because he could be a pig farmer and he's got a tractor and sheep as well, and there's a sign of money.
Close. It's single palm famous.
Oh, right.
It's a colour and then
Yeah, black tiger.
a different type of big cat.
Black cougar. Huh? Am I even close? Black leopard. No, black lion. Black lion. Yeah.
I honestly, all the jockeys say to me what a funny man Paul is. I don't see it. I don't find him that funny at all. But that video, I can't recall how many times I've watched it. But it's always funny, isn't it?
Excellent.
Yeah.
I was just trying so hard not to die with laughter. It was the farmer makes money. Yeah. But no, any other moments, guys, that stand out?
I did have a few funny ones. Obviously, it was a sad time with the Gallop being in a spot of bother, but we sent a couple of the guys that work on the farm for us down here to come help out on the diggers and get the Gallop back in action. And the amount of phone calls I got from them, from our guys being like, these guys have no idea how to operate a tractor, and I think it's Joe Rose trying to put a roller on, and physically incapable of driving a tractor that he sits in all day.
Thank you.
Was really quite entertaining. From trying to FaceTime him to say which buttons to press. Was,
God.
We're better with four-legged machines.
Yeah. So no, I did laugh at that, but it wasn't. Spirits went too high at the time, so I couldn't really abuse Harry about it.
Yeah, could we joke about that, or was it a bit of a touch?
Yeah, too soon.
Too soon.
Still feels too soon,
okay,
quite frank. Yeah.
Hey, the Gallop looks fine now.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, we only missed 6 weeks of the season. It was fine.
That's so good. So good in the end.
Yeah.
Any other moments, guys, that we can laugh about now?
I've got one that I'm not going to name a name because it's not fair, but Harry every week in the autumn used to school a horse, and the horse was not a particularly good jumper and not a particularly pleasant ride, and so Harry would like school a couple of horses, and then at the end of the schooling we'd be like, Harry, here's your favourite horse. Oh, good, yeah, wonderful. And I shouldn't be amused by that, because the horse wasn't particularly good at jumping, and Harry wasn't having a very nice time, but it always used to crack me up quite a lot, and we'd always sort of like finish, and Harry'd be like, well, it wasn't as bad.
Did it improve?
It did, yeah. But I mean, I'd always get to sort of Tuesday next week, and I'd be about to text Harry, said I'll be in tomorrow, and I think, could I go somewhere? Could I make him an excuse?
Have I got a ride at Catterick?
What I would do is that because obviously David Maxwell has some lovely horses here, and he's not in all that often to school them. It's like a trade-off of like Harry would school David's horses, which are beautiful horses, lovely jumpers, and at the end of that session, here's his little favourite. It's like mounting the jumps. You know, there we go.
Oh, so good.
Shouldn't laugh at other people's misfortune or anything.
Yeah. But no, I suppose, yeah. No, it was a good moment actually. See, Harry did a bit of schooling actually at one point during the season as well. Yeah, he got the old the boots out and.
Oh, I think we were here for that.
Yeah, it was.
Called Amy to go and run and get your boots. Amy, get my boots, get my hat. I'm getting on.
So watching Yellowstone, is it?
Horse had a sore back ever since. Poor horse. Did well to jump mine in the weight, yeah.
Right, guys, well, let's move on because, as we've discussed, plenty of highs to celebrate in racing, but also, as we all know, plenty of lows and lessons that can be learnt and taken on to seasons ahead. So it'd be just great to go around the table and discuss any lower moments and the learnings that you got from those lower moments. I don't know who wants to...
Ed can start. Yeah, why don't you drive on it? Because
your biggest challenge doesn't have to be a low moment, but a challenge that you faced last
dealing
season.
with me.
A challenge. Trying to beat Willie Mullins at buying horses is the biggest challenge at the minute.
Shall we get the old violin?
Yeah, I mean we've been trying really hard this spring trying to buy some horses privately, and it's getting to the point now where I have to ring up Harry once every 3 days to say Willie Mullins has beaten us again. Is really quite frustrating, but it's a real testament to why he's so good. And you know, behind the scenes later on in the season when you have runners at Perth and runners everywhere, he was driving down to Wexford and seeing these horses himself and buying them, and it got to the point where I was completely pulling my hair out. But yeah, that was a frustrating few weeks when he was really buying all of the quality for a period of time. But yeah, that was I think if anyone sort of questions how or why they have all these good horses, it's the groundwork that they're putting in, and they're absolutely phenomenal, but they're very hard to beat, which that was frustrating.
Have you had a moment where you've got the better of them in the race?
Yeah, once I think.
Once
or twice probably, but yeah, not very often.
Shouldn't go out because next time Harold Kirk sees you, he's going to eat you. He's never going to.
He's going to comfort you now. Yeah. He's never going to let you buy a single horse ever again.
Do you know? I always think like whenever we've bid on a horse privately and Willie beats you, at least you're in the right place.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if you buy one and they're just like, yeah, okay, cool. Well, nobody else wants him. You know, if there's competition to buy the horse and it's really tough to try and buy them, yeah, don't get me wrong, it is extremely frustrating because you're not offering £5 for these horses. But I do think if the absolute master of the business is wanting that horse, well, at least Ed was wanting the right one.
Exactly. Guys, any other challenges from last season or learnings that you want to discuss?
School on that horse.
Yeah.
Don't be that.
No, I feel like I learned plenty or improved plenty, but did nothing out of the ordinary. Just yeah, I think we put in plenty of groundwork here at home, and hopefully we tried to show it when we got to the track.
Is there a horse or before a ride that you were maybe not apprehensive about, but that you thought it would take a handling to get the best out of the horse, or something along those lines where you've really had to, it's a challenge to get up on a particular horse, or any ride that's stands out? They're just all so easy.
No, there was one actually, and it was so I don't know why. I got a bit nervous before, but it was before Valls had ran the first day, obviously at Uttoxeter when he won. I don't know why I got nervous. I just couldn't see how he could get beat, but then I just started to overthink it, and but he'd been working and schooling well, and I was almost sure he was going to win, but I just ended up getting in a bit of a. Yeah, just got a bit anxious beforehand. But as soon as I walked out and got up on him, I was fine. But too much time to think. I think it was an even meeting.
Yeah.
Would you say January for us was quite challenging there, wasn't it? Like, not as in terms of like us, but like lots of them were just blowing up, weren't they? And that was a tough old time.
It was, but I think the important part was to just understand that they were blowing up and they were going to improve. It's not like, oh, they're running out of ability. It was. We knew that they were going to need a run. I know it was frustrating, but I think all those horses that we ran carried on right to the end of the season. I thought. And
Exactly. I agree.
Do we want to discuss January? I know it's been well documented, but do we want to quickly touch on it?
Yeah, very happy to. Very happy to. I mean, without question, December and January was the hardest point of my career, most challenging. You know, you don't anticipate. Like, as a trainer, you're always trying to look forward. What's coming next? What can we do to make it better, or whatever it is? But when you have, I can't remember how many. I think it was 74 mil of rain in 40 hours or something. When you start training 2 years in, you hope that your Gallop doesn't flood to the point where you can't use it for a month. And that was an enormous challenge because it wasn't, you know, horses get injured, horses have setbacks, horses disappoint or get beat. The reality is you have to deal with that. And even if you're the best, 75% of the time you're going to lose. So you have to get over that. But that challenge was enormous because all of a sudden you've got a lot of owners that are investing a lot of money and trust in you, and one of the most integral parts of your business has gone wrong. And so I felt a huge amount of pressure in December and January, mainly December, because January I actually could cope with January. They weren't fit, they were getting to 2 out and blown up. Well, that was because they were racing against hard fit horses and they weren't fit. I could sort of deal with that. And I think we went 37 runners without a winner, which is, happily, we haven't had many periods of time like that. But as Paul said, we kept saying, stick together, we know why this is happening. It's not like they're sick, and you know, I kept reading, his horses are out of form. They weren't out of form; they just weren't fit, and you couldn't do anything about that. But December was enormously challenging and very, very stressful. I slept horrendously in December, and you know, it did take a big old toll because you just are watching racing every single day and taking no part in it. And every morning waking up and watching 75 horses trot round in circles, knowing that you can't go on the Gallop because you don't have one. And the one thing that coming out the other side of it, I said to myself was, I am so lucky with the owners that I've got, because not one of them grumbled, not one of them took their horses away. They all just said, this is a bit rubbish for you, get it sorted and we'll support you. And I thought that was unbelievable. Like, you're 2 years into a business. You know, if people took their horses away, you couldn't have grumbled. You know, like, I didn't have a Gallop for 6 weeks, and not one of them did. They all stood by me. They all stood by my team, and I think that still means a lot now. You know, and I think very, very lucky to have that sort of support.
Brilliant. And the horses are now flying up the new Gallop.
Yeah, you know, as Paul said, like, they've held their form into the spring. Now, I'm very aware that we had a really good February and March and April, because obviously some of them didn't have much hardship pre-Christmas, and they were fresher and better handicapped than they might have been ordinarily. But the new Gallop worked. The surface is easier. Hence, we're doing some development through the summer to try and just adjust how we do things. But the thing is, you could talk about a Gallop till you're blue in the face. February, we had a record month of winners. March, the same. We had a good month in April. It works. We just, you know, kick on now.